we have to recognise something. There are some people who come from certain cultures, and, you know, we might not like the truth, but we can accept the truth.
Well, I could have said.
Now he's losing it now.
Some reports suggest he.
This was the Reform UK press conference where he basically claimed asylum seekers arrive by small boat crossings because they believe they have a 99% chance of staying. And he asserted they come to the UK for free healthcare and weekly pocket money, £49, and may work illegally. Now, I notice he puts in the word may, so in other words, he's no evidence to back that up. It's just what he thinks. And he argued some asylum seekers from certain cultures pose a danger to our society. Anyway, this is what he had to say. It's a little clip.
Country, and the genuine fears that mothers have, particularly for teenage kids, when we know already that an Afghan male has a 22 times more likely chance of being convicted of rape than somebody born in this country. The fact that 40% of sexual assaults in London...
Let's be honest, there is no evidence to back this up. This is just absolute nonsense.
...over the course of the last 5 years have been committed by those born overseas. You know, we have to recognise something. There are some people who come from certain cultures that pose a danger to our society. It's as simple as that.
When I was sort of like reading a lot of articles, and because like you've got the Care for Calais, they've called the statements populist politics, and what he was basically saying, he said they saw dangerous division. The CEO of Care for Calais, he also said, named Stephen Smith, not the former Australian cricket captain. No. Another Steve Smith. Accused Farage of using ill-informed, divisive sound bites that echo rhetoric linked to the last summer race riots. And that's all he has, really. He's got no policies. It's just the same old Nigel racist Farage, isn't it? You know, hate on brown people, just for the simple reason they will never vote. They will never be able to vote, will they? Because for the simple reason they're not born here, really. And so it's just easy politics for him. And hope, not hate, said Farage trades on fear, which he does really, doesn't he, to energise his base and exploit immigration and crime issues. Because they do. I think we've got one or two in the chat already. They view his strongman stance as a tactic to dominate discourse on law and order. It's a little bit like what the Tommy Ten Names does, doesn't he? You know, it's just the grift, isn't it? You know, he will say, out there in that forest, there is the boogeyman, and only I can protect you from the boogeyman, so please give me some money. Please give me some money. And that's all they have. Even though the information is widely available on the internet, the comments, clearly he's basically using it to basically just instill more fear and into people fearing more brown people. Because like the comments come the day after protesters reportedly tried to breach a hotel housing asylum system. Seekers, should I say, and the press conference was part of Reform's unveiling of its criminal justice policy. And because like Farage's claim that asylum seekers arriving by small boat have a 99% chance of staying has been widely criticised as misleading and unsupported by evidence, because there is no official data backing that figure, and it oversimplifies a complex legal and procedural landscape, which it basically does. Now, when it comes to asylum outcomes, some claims are accepted, many are refused or withdrawn, while others may be granted different forms of leave or face lengthy appeals, don't they? And neither the Home Office nor independent watchdogs have published figures remotely close to that percentage. But I found this bit of questioning very, very interesting.
So are you saying that they should, the police, in all cases, release the names, addresses and immigration status of people after they have been charged with an offence. Your critics will, of course, say that this is going to inflame community tensions. This could cause unrest on our streets. We are already seeing a very precarious situation. Is that not just going to make things far, far worse?
What caused unrest on our streets after Southport last year was us not being told the status of the attacker. That led to crazy conspiracy theories spreading online. So look, I've made it perfectly clear through this press conference, and George understands this absolutely as well. We do understand and respect the contempt of court rules. But, I'm going to go back and quote just one more time. Jonathan Hall, KC, the independent reviewer of terrorism legislation, a watchdog over this area, who said in the wake of Southport, we should spell out the basic and sober facts. He also said that governments should stop hiding behind contempt of court rules. People need to be given reasonable truth. And, we might not like the truth, or we can accept the truth. But to have masses of speculation as to what might have happened makes things...
Doesn't this sound very, very familiar?
I think far worse than they otherwise would be.
Who punted this conspiracy theory? How interesting.
In the immediate aftermath of the Southport stabbings, that engaged in conspiracy theories about who did this and about whether the police were telling the truth. You said, and I'm quoting here, some reports suggest he, the man charged, was known to the security services. Which reports?
This is the problem, isn't it? One of the reasons the Southport riots were as bad as they were is we weren't told the truth. There were stories online from some very prominent folks with big followings, Andrew Tate, etc., suggesting the man had crossed the English Channel in a boat in October 2023. Other suggestions that he was an active Muslim. And much of this led to the riots that we saw.
But you amplified that because you said some reports suggest.
I asked a very simple question.
You could tell he's very, very, very uncomfortable, isn't he? But I'm no Tom Swarbrick fan, really, but I thought it held him to account brilliantly. And hello, son of Viking, the man who cited Andrew Tate as his news source now declares conspiracy theories being spread online. Yeah, so I would say. I went looking for this clip because I just thought it just summed up what he just said perfectly, the hypocrisy of the man.
Was this person known or not? Now,
to the security services.
Absolutely.
And that's a perfectly legitimate question, which was raised by Yvette Cooper. But, Nigel
Yes.
Farage, you didn't just do that, did you? You said
Yes.
some reports suggest he was known to the security services. Those reports were from a fake news website, amplified by Russian state TV and, as you mentioned, Andrew Tate. Which ones were you looking at?
Which adds to what I was asking for. Give us some clarity. Remember, the London Bridge attacker, we knew within an hour...
Yeah, whataboutism.
that this person was known to the security services. Whenever in Northern Ireland there was a terrorist outrage, very quickly people were told the background of the perpetrator.
But you didn't
I
just
asked
stop
a
there.
very simple question.
You said some reports suggest he was known to the security services. Those reports were a fake news
Did you see his face there? He looked really uncomfortable, didn't he?
website, Russian state TV,
Well,
and
I could
Andrew
have
Tate.
said. I could have said.
So which one was
Now
it?
he's losing
I
it
could
now.
have said some reports suggest he crossed the channel last October. Some reports suggest he's an active
all of
Muslim.
that was unfounded.
I did none of those things. What I asked for was clarity. We didn't get clarity,
didn't
and
just
I would
do that.
argue that what happened in Southport would not have been of the same magnitude had the truth been told, and told very, very quickly. It wasn't for
You don't
many
need to
hours
amplify
that
the
we learnt more.
mysteries. No, you're right, but that was the chronology of it. But you don't need to amplify the mystery.
I asked the question.
But to cite, quotes, some reports suggest the reports are fake, and you accept that now. They're misinformation.
There were thousands of fake reports everywhere.
And you cited
all
them.
of
So why did he cite them then? If he knew they were fake, why is he citing them then?
all of which puts the emphasis on the questions being answered, which they weren't.
So did you accidentally fall for that misinformation?
No, I didn't believe any of it.
Or did you know it was wrong from the get-go?
I hadn't got a clue.
Apparently he didn't fall for any of it, but he still reported it. How interesting. Yes. And then finished off with, I haven't got a clue. How interesting. He hasn't got a clue. Yes. Yes, because Exactly. You stoke the tension just asking questions. Yes, and Tom Swarbrick were asking questions, and let's be honest, he didn't like what he saw. He didn't like what questions he was asked, was he? Simple as. Because he looked uncomfortable because he knows he looked incredibly stupid,